Hi, I'm Mike from Michael's Motor Cars, located in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and I'm really excited to bring a really special car to show you today. So come on over and take a look at it. We just recently sold an earlier ERA Cobra, which was a 1988 build. It ended up going to a fellow in Europe because those cars can be sold over there. And we have a second Cobra now that we're very pleased to bring to market. We are selling this car, representing it for the woman who sadly her husband died recently. So we are consigning this car. We have a very realistic reserve on the sale, so we fully expect it to exceed the reserve. So the car itself is a very, very well-built ERA Cobra. The build was completed in 2002. It took 4 years to get the car built. It was done by George Goody, built the car, and also Gene Cromer had helped on the motor when they built the motor up. It has a 1965 427 Ford side oiler motor. It was an ex-drag motor that had about 20 miles on it, probably a quarter mile at a time, that of course was completely rebuilt and done for this application. It does have the correct Ford top loader 4-speed transmission. I could go on for about an hour with this car with all of the specific details in the video, which I'm not going to do, but we are posting everything we know about this car. So please take the time, look in our photo gallery, read all the details about this car. Extremely interesting, extremely well done Cobra. It's a one-owner car. They bought this car, of course, directly from Peter at ERA Cobra, and then had it built. It now is showing 14,200 miles, so that is accurate. It has been registered in Pennsylvania its entire life. Interestingly, on the Pennsylvania title, which is how the car will be sold, it is shown as a 1965 Ford. The VIN on the car is the ERA VIN, which came with the car, and it is ERA SC 427 50555. And of course, it is car number 555 from ERA. Coming around here to the motor, let me show you this. Of course, these are extremely important to these cars. We will have in the photo gallery all the details about the build of the motor and what went into motor. Suffice to say, very well done. It is a true 427 side oiler. We have 2 4-barrel carbs on it, a lot of chrome. The car, and we do have the ERA plate right here, that is the correct number, that has been on the car since it was built. This car, when they built it, is a really neat combination of new and old. I think they drew from all of the good aspects of these cars and updated it. They chose to do Girling master cylinders. On the rear, it has outboard discs because the Jaguar rear setup has the inboard discs. They did outboard Wellwoods, which are a hell of a lot easier to work on when they do that. They also have cross-drilled front rotors in the front. So heavy-duty, serious braking system, which you need in a car with this kind of performance. They went with the black Connolly leather interior. They went with the better carpeting, which is gorgeous. The car has all old-style gauges. It does have the amps gauge. Let's see if I read this correctly, is Lucas. All the other gauges are Smith's gauges. They also chose, which is a great idea, the car has a complete fire suppression system installed. That's what the red handle does. And I'll show you the actual extinguishers in the trunk. But it's plumbed correctly, the fire extinguisher system. It has 3 nozzles in the engine compartment, which you can see here, which is correct. It has nozzles throughout the rest of the car, which is nice to have in a car like this. You'll see, we'll take a lot of photos of this car, chassis photos, lift photos. It's as clean underneath as it is what you're seeing on the top. All original paint to the car. When they built it, they actually painted it twice because they were not satisfied. They stripped it down, did it a second time. Application is gorgeous. It's held up extremely well. The people that owned the car, they took it to shows. They did drive it, but they drove it sparingly. It's never been in the rain. Of course, it's never been in the snow. And the underside of the car reflects that. Just beautiful everywhere you can see. Going to the trunk of the car, I'll just spend a minute back here. It also is nicely finished. It's carpeted, of course, die-hard battery. Over here on the left side in the rear is the fire extinguisher for the system. So that's fully charged, ready to go. Hopefully will never be used, but it's there. And then just to get into some of the details, when they built this car, and this gives you some insight into the people that owned this car, they logged and recorded the entire build. They have videos of the entire build. There are 16. They originally were on the larger cassettes. And then luckily, he took a project and changed the whole thing into DVDs. So there are 16 DVDs showing in great detail the entire build process. This comes, of course, with the car. We have the original ERA manuals. We have the original ERA build instructions. They did a photo book. They had this done, I think, at Hershey or Carlisle. Sadly, he died before he was able to complete it. But this is going with the car, and that's cool. That's a hand-sprayed Cobra logo. The car was featured in a magazine article when it was done, and we have this posted in the gallery pictures. Please take the time and read this article. It's very descriptive. It goes into detail about the build on the motor, some of the specifics about the suspension, which I've touched upon with the brakes, and it's just hits the highlights of the car. He also had, interestingly, and I'm not quite sure why, a complete set of replacement wheels. These are also the Trigger wheels. We have all the original boxes. They have been on the car, so they have slight wear on them, very slight, but they are being sold with the car. They are the same size as the wheels that are on the car now, but a complete set of extra wheels. This is the tonneau cover he had for the car. It really has never been used. I put it on the car. I know it wasn't used because none of the snaps were operational because they were covered with this felt. So we opened that up. The snaps work. It fits beautifully. So this is a tonneau cover. These are some fender covers. These were just some spare parts he had, new parts, spark plugs, oil filter, distributor cap, just some odds and ends. And that all comes with the car. There also is a complete car cover in this bag, which we have a photo of the car with the cover on. That goes with it. And then we also have, and this is significant, he had purchased a brand new complete convertible top for the car. I don't want to open it because it's never been opened. It's still in the box, still in the bag. It does have side windows, metal frame, everything. So it's never been on the car, but of course this all comes with the car. So you have a tonneau cover, you have a car cover, you have a never used convertible top, you have a complete set of extra wheels, you have documentation coming out the wazoo on this car. One owner car, registered in Pennsylvania, clean registration as a '65 Ford. The car is absolutely stunning when you see it in person. They did the Wimbledon white classic stripes on it. It's a newer paintwork. The color, it's a metallic dark green, which is stunning. You'll see in the photos, sometimes the car looks black. It's actually dark green. And it's just, the car, the visual impact is incredible. You'll also notice in the drive that we do, I comment on how well this car drives. I am just shocked at the quality of the suspension combination, the structure of the frame. It's so rigid, so solid, but it's not harsh. It actually is, except for the noise, very pleasant to drive. And they are open pipes, so it's a classic Cobra sound. They also chose, which I think is cool, they have the vintage style seat belts. We also have, these are 4-point harnesses. So these come down and of course all latch together. The leather, like the rest of the car, is virtually new. There's literally no wear anywhere on the car. Just incredible overall condition. So if you're looking specifically for a true 427 side oiler, all the boxes are checked on this car. All the details that Cobra people like are on this car. I was really surprised how nicely the engine performs. I was a little worried with the 2-barrel carbs how the progression would be, but it's fantastic. Very crisp response. It revs like crazy. It idles smoothly, and just a fantastic car to drive. So we're open to, please, I am not a Cobra expert, so I'm open to anybody's comments on the car and questions on the car. We also invite inspections of this car, of anyone to come and see it. We welcome that. This will be a fun car to sell, and truly, it's a pretty high-end ERA Cobra build. So thanks for taking the time to look at it. Please watch all the videos, and please read everything, because we'll be supplying all the details on the build, the chassis, and everything, which will be in the photo gallery. So please take the time and read all of that, and then we can respond to questions. So thanks for taking a look at our car.